Do you need testimonials, but you're not exactly sure where to get them, how to film them, or even how to ask your customers? Well, today we talk with Jill Schiefelbein, who will be sharing her tips and tactics for capturing fantastic video testimonials. Stay tuned, folks. It's the Business of Video podcast.
You're listening to the Business of Video podcast, where the world's top YouTubers and marketers talk about what's working with online video. This podcast is recorded live on Facebook every week, and you can join us when you visit businessofvideopodcast.com. Now your host, Owen Video.
Welcome back to the Business of Video podcast. It's Wednesday. It's smoking hot outside, and that means it's time for another fantastic episode. Welcome back to the show. I'm Owen Video, and you can give me 5. That's right. Just type 5 into the comment section now, and that will subscribe you to the show. Means we'll give you an alert every time we go live. Today, I'm joined, as always, by my fantastic co-host, Nick Nimmin, and a very special guest, a gentleman who ranks a 9 on the Clooney scale.
Oh, look at that. Whoa. He's bringing up the Clooney scale.
I know.
Nice. How are you doing, Owen? Nice to see you. Nice to see you here today. We are super pumped to be hanging out as always. Excited for the show today.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Well,
finally get to meet Owen face to face. All right.
I know, it's about time, and I've sort of seen you on the TubeBuddy live streams, but or on the the Nick Nimmin live streams. Nick, introduce your fantastic brother to the family here.
Yeah, so everybody, this is my brother D.
Hello, everybody.
D is my brother from the same mother, if you can't tell. Some people can see the resemblance, other people can't. D also has a YouTube channel, D Nimmin, that you can find, where he teaches people how to master their mobile device. And he's also he's on my live streams every Saturday. And we just finished a TubeBuddy stream as well. As you can see, we're rocking the TubeBuddy shirts right now. And now we're here hanging out with Owen and you and just having a great time.
And we're going to have a phenomenal time today. D, is it part of your, are you normally up this late? Are you a night owl like Nick? Because I know it's like 2 a.m. where you guys.
I am. I'm absolutely a night owl. I might get to bed maybe around 4 a.m., 5 a.m.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing.
But here's the thing about being a night owl. Everybody says, oh, but you missed the beautiful day, but they're missing a beautiful night.
There we go.
I think that's a great point. And there's actually a lot of kidnappers who have said something similar in the past, and that's interesting you would align there. But I think what's really important is that what's it like working with family? My brother's a balloon artist, and he's got a master's in Spanish as well. So that's kind of I don't think that we jive in the same working environment. He's a cool guy. I think we jive. What's it like working with family?
It's awesome.
It's fantastic. You know what? It just when you're doing something by yourself and you just wish that you could have somebody to back you up, or somebody to help you do something, or even to help you carry your gear.
Right.
You always have a backup. You always have the person, not just a backup, but just the support.
Yeah.
It's always that support's there. And just the other night, I flipped out on him because I was having technical problems for hours.
Yeah, so he hops on the phone with me and he's like, "Yeah, my computer just went down, my camera's overheating, my microphone's getting a buzz, and all this stuff." And it's cool just to have that that other person, the family, the family to bounce that kind of stuff off of when you're dealing with it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, is there because Nick, you're over 200,000 subscribers now. D just started a channel, you know what I mean? You're building. Is there ever this thought, like Nick, is there ever this D, bring me some coffee? Shut your mouth.
Pretty much every day.
That's pretty, yeah.
That's actually why he even showed up today. Is I was like, "Hey dude, need some coffee." And then he came in and I was like, "Oh, hey, I'm getting ready to go live. So let's go live." And then he's like, "Well, what about your coffee?" And I'm like, "Oh, whatever. It's cold now. So just give me another one when the stream's over."
I was trying to be polite when I mentioned somebody helping you carry your gear. What I really meant was, "Hey, bring me some coffee." That's, yeah.
No, it's not like that at all in any way, shape, or form.
Now, you guys are both, you're in Thailand. Did you move out there together, or was it D came out and then Nick, you soon followed? What was that like?
Yeah, he was out here first, and then I got out of a relationship, and like how I framed that, got out of But it was actually like a relationship that ended up not going the way that I had thought it was going to go. And I was having trouble with that in my brain. And D reached out and he's like, hey, if you can take a month, I'll actually, all expenses paid, bring you to Thailand just so that you can rest your mind for a little bit. Awesome. And then I came over here, fell in love with the place. And then he helped mentor me on like how to work online and how to do all of that stuff, which, ultimately brought me to where I'm at now.
No kidding. Now, D, are you ever like, upset with Nick for being like the little brother who's the big YouTube star? Are you ever like, I built you, I made you who you are? Like, has that conversation ever happened?
Yeah, sometimes I'm like, you'd be nothing without me. No. Man, I'm so proud of him. The funny thing is, Owen, is when he was like, yeah, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. I'm like, okay, cool. Have fun with that. And then he comes back like a year later and he's like, hey, look, this thing's really growing. I'm like, okay, I'm interested. And then it just keeps growing and growing and growing. And now I'm like, yeah, I think I might do that too. But you know what it was? He was having so much fun and he was talking about the community and meeting awesome people. And I was like, you know what? That sounds like something I want to get into.
Yeah, that's rad. Now you're both sort of like digital nomads. What's sort of your claim to fame, D? Are you sort of like an affiliate marketer style, or is there something else you were involved with?
I had a media company for a long time in the States, and I came over to Thailand, and I was running that for quite some time. Then I closed that down, sold that to my partner, and then I got into some real estate. And we still have some condos here, and then got into this.
That's rad. So if you folks are looking for a condo, an Airbnb in Thailand, just write d@nimin.com and
yeah.
Great. Now I need to set up that email. Thanks.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Hey, well, I'm so glad you're going to join us for the show today. Nick and D are two of my favorite people. Together, they are the Niminati. #Niminati. And if you want to see more from them, share this video in your timeline right now. Will you guys stick around, join us for the news?
Oh yeah.
Awesome. We've got a special guest coming up for the news today. Let's bring him out right now. Let's go to the news.
Well, thank you, Owen. Hello, social media fans. I am Dick Matrix, and let's get into the news. YouTube is getting rid of private messages. Hey, Owen, Nick, D, did you guys get that private message I sent to you guys last night?
Private?
No, I didn't.
Exactly. I'm sure this feature will not be missed, and thank you, YouTube, for getting rid of it.
Is that Les? Am I looking at Les Grossman right now?
No, my name is Dick Matrix, in case you did not see the scrolling. It's not scrolling marquee because I'm using OBS, but that's okay. PBS is having a little issues. But that brings us to the next story. Speaking of YouTube, you may have seen As Seen on TV, but now we have As Seen on YouTube. So all you small business entrepreneurs out there, get on to this. I mean, give your product to a YouTuber, like doing it with Jason. He's pretty cool. And he will probably advertise it. And look, you too can be in a Walmart gas station near your home. That brings up, well, I'm sorry. Yes, Owen.
That's amazing. You were at a gas station and they played a YouTube clip in there.
No, you must not have been listening. They were selling a YouTube product. They didn't play a clip. But, that's actually a really good idea, and you should probably come up with that. Little videos at the gas station. So, man, let me write that. Let me write that down.
Yeah, for me, when somebody's pumping gas, that's when I want to hit them. That's when I'm like, yes, let me make an impact.
Absolutely.
Your life, And I know that Nick has had a tendency to reach people when they're gassy as well. I don't know if that's a thing, but
that's a family thing, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, it usually has something to do with like Pepto-Bismol and, things along those lines to where it's like, hey, that's usually who I try to work with is people like that to where it's like, hey, if you have like a Beano, I think is the name of the other one, to where it's like, hey, if you're having gastro problems, I'm your guy. Come and talk to me.
Yeah. I'm your guy. If you're looking to build a YouTube channel and you have indigestion, then subscribe to the channel today. That's
right.
Value statements are important. Dick Matrix, play, what else is on in the world today?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Facebook. Facebook is in the news, as always. And after 4 years, Facebook finally decided to scrap the trending section. Once again, didn't know this existed. And how about you guys? What are your thoughts on this trending that they're scrapping?
My thoughts are, if they're scrapping it because people weren't paying attention to it, then it is absolutely fantastic if they're scrapping it, because like you said, I also had no idea about the trending section on Facebook.
Never heard of it.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, yes,
How is the trending section if nobody knows about it? That's what I really want to know.
Right.
Here's the trending news that no one knows about it.
Right, yeah. And I mean, I actually caught up with Facebook and to ask them a few questions, and they said they will be replacing this feature with another one that no one will use. So that's way to go, Facebook. But the final story.
Innovators.
Yes, they are absolutely. They're not
going from like one non-use thing to another. I mean,
right, yes.
Trailblazers.
Yeah. Without it, I thought, hey, but speaking of Facebook, Miss America pageant. Have you guys heard of this? For the first time in nearly a century, the Miss America pageant is ending the swimsuit competition. That's right. The organizers announced yesterday that the pageant is trying to redefine its role in an era of female empowerment and gender equality. Hey, here's an idea. Let's scrap the whole entire contest. I mean, if you can get what you want, at the times, don't judge people. People don't need to be judged. Man, women, inside or out. But, speaking of, I think it's a perfect opportunity, Owen and you guys. We're going to start a Mr. America pageant, and we all just dress up in Speedos. What do you think?
It sounds great to me. We're actually, I think, because we're going to be going to VidCon, and, we're going to be doing a hangout there, and I think that would actually be a fantastic place to do a Speedo competition.
Owen, you're bringing your Speedos?
I have a leopard print bandana, banana hammock that Phil, actually the owner at TubeBuddy, donated to me, and so I think it's a perfect time to take it for a test drive. I don't know, Jason, you going to be there?
Absolutely, and I'll be bringing my Speedos and hopefully rooming and boarding somewhere with you guys, or maybe vidIQ. Who knows? But we'll definitely be there, and it'll be a lot of fun.
Wow!
Come on! It was jokes, but now it's time for the weather. As you see, we're going to be cloudy mostly here, sunny here, and oh my lucky stars! Look, I've always wanted to reach in and grab some clouds, and it was everything I hoped it would be. And I'm going to be messaging you guys all this on YouTube, all of my clouds. So I'll send that to you guys right away. And thanks for having me, Owen.
Dick Matrix, everybody, give it up for Dick Matrix.
That was great, Les Grossman.
Yeah.
Acting like Dick Matrix.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And you know what? I it brings up a good point though. I want to be judged by my body. I don't know if that's a thing still, but I prefer that. I'd love to do like a pectoral contest. I don't know if that's a thing, but it's worth a shot.
We can make it a thing. Let's start
we can make
trend.
it a thing, right?
Yeah.
Like we've got audiences. Let's do it. Let's do this.
Yeah.
I think that's a good way. That's we're gonna do a hard left on our channels and just go straight to the pectoral show. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to see our pecs, let us know in the comment section right now. Just put hashtag
Taking my shirt off.
Yeah. It's he's like, why are you always asking me to take my clothes off? Yeah. It's a thing. It's a thing we do. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the news. Wow, I'm exhausted. I actually get sweaty from laughing so hard.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, that's totally unexpected. The thing there with Dick, that was fantastic. And the weather just kind of polished the whole thing off perfectly. That was fantastic. Well done, Dick.
Yeah.
Dick Matrix, folks, if you'd like to see him back, let us know in the comment section. It's just always fun to have someone. Kathy Spacey is saying hashtag pecs. So this is I think, a trend. It's going to be on the trending section, I think, in Facebook pretty soon. Rita Romano is saying hubba hubba. David Freund is saying I like to be judged on what's inside my body, and I'm not exactly sure how to take that, but.
Yeah, tread carefully there with that one.
Dan Norton is cracking up. Kevin Carr logging in saying LOL. Dr. Sten Ekberg logging in with LOL. We like Dr. Sten, don't we?
Yes, we do. Absolutely. Dr. Sten is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Huge fan, I think, of the YouTube community. He's always there logging in. Teresa Kennard, the trending section wasn't trending. You got that right. Kevin Carr is saying cross-platform Niminati everywhere. I like it. I like it. Folks, we have a great show for you today. Jill Schiefelbein is here, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But first, a word from our sponsor. The show today is brought to you by Square Video Memes, and they are our show sponsor, not just because I created the course and make all the money. No, that's actually basically why they're the sponsor of our show. But you can create stunning Square Video Memes for Facebook on Instagram for just $17. Do you want to take your widescreen high-definition video and create a Square video that'll get 22% more shares on mobile devices? Well, then you've got to go to thevideospot.net/meme. That's thevideospot.net/meme. Pick up your course on Square Video Memes and start making Square Video Memes today. Welcome back to the show. If you're just joining us, I'm Owen Video here with my normal guest, Nick. I'm just so torn up today, guys. Hey, welcome back to the show. I'm Owen here with Nick Nimmin and his twin brother D. Now, you guys are not really twins, right?
No, we're not.
No.
No, he's 4 years. He's 4 years. He's 4 years older than I am.
So were you guys in high school together at the same time?
No, actually, like he was going out as I was coming in, and it was just just barely.
That's what Mom said.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's amazing. You know, my kids are the same age apart. You know, and that closeness that they share is incredible. Were you guys close as kids too, or was there like some sibling rivalry happening?
Oh, of course, there was a little bit of like during that part where he was like already like grown up a little bit, but I was still in that like annoying stage to where I'm like, hey, we should hang out, like that whole thing. Then there's a little bit of that in terms of like holding me down and like punching me in the face. But outside of that though, like once we turned into adults, then it was good.
Like no age difference at all, right? At that point.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad to have you here, and
I was gonna say he's actually out of the two of us, he's the more mature.
Yeah. Let's not get carried away.
Yeah.
That's not saying much. You know what I mean?
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we all spend our lives on video. So, take that for what it's worth, ladies and gentlemen. We're glad to have the Niminati here. We're joined by a very special guest today, folks. And before I bring her on, I want to let you guys know I have been trying to get Jill on the show for months, but she's continually rescheduling. She's constantly canceling. And we were able to lock her down. So please give a big round of applause for our guest today. Jill Schiefelbein is an award-winning entrepreneur, author, and recovering academic. She taught business communication at Arizona State University for 11 years before venturing into the free world of entrepreneurship. Jill's business, The Dynamic Communicator, helps organizations navigate the digital communication space to attract customers, increase sales, and retain clients. Her latest book, Dynamic Communication, 27 Strategies to Grow, Lead, and Manage Your Business, hit stores in March 2017. Jill, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad there was so much truth in advertising in that introduction you gave me there.
Yeah. It's not true at all, folks. In fact, we've had to reschedule on Jill a couple times, and that's why we're so glad that even after all my rudeness, you still made time to come on the show.
3 strikes and you're out. Luckily, you only got 2.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, my wife says the same thing. Jill, talk to us a little bit. Talk to us a little bit about your background and what you do with video.
Thanks for the comments on the recovering academic. For whatever reason, I can throw out random stuff like I've analyzed terrorist documents to provide counterterrorism strategy. I've worked with the NFL and the WNBA. What gets remembered the most is recovering academic. So get that trending while Facebook Trends is still flittering around. But what really, I do, I love communication. I realized the power of words at a very early age. I was like that, Reese Witherspoon in the movie Election.
Okay, just made one of the best movies ever seen in this household. Yes. What happened to your eye? Yes, I remember that movie.
So take her at a local level and then imagine that at a like state and national level. And that was me. I was on crack, you know, in terms of excited and hyper about getting things because my parents told me, I grew up in a small town in Kansas, and they told me when I was very young, if I ever wanted to leave Kansas, I had to get what was called a full ride scholarship. And so not knowing what that was, I said, Mom, I need to go to the library. Why do you need to go to the library? I need to look up what a full ride scholarship is, because I was a super nerd then and I'm a super nerd now. And then I learned everything I needed to do, which was like leadership and speaking and student government and state government and blah, blah, blah. So I was that total nerd and got to Arizona State and studied communication in the Hugh Downs School, which is one of the most well-known ones around the country, and quickly learned that okay, communication is so much more than just words and getting up and speaking. There's actually a lot of theory behind it. And then I fell in love with systems theory, this geeky organizational business theory, and studied it in depth, decided to get my master's, started teaching in 2004, and loved the teaching, but didn't love that a lot of it was just regurgitating stuff. You know, like I'm not a mother bird trying to feed her students as baby birds, right? Like I don't want them to just regurgitate things back and forth. I want them to actually be able to use the stuff that they're learning. And that lack of application really drove me to kind of go my own path.
Yeah, that's interesting. You know, I did the college thing. I got my degree. I actually graduated third in my class. And we sort of talked about this before the show, is that there really wasn't much of an emphasis on do something with this. It was really more on like self-fulfillment. Like, we hope you find joy, but we don't care at all if you have a career. You know, I don't know. Did the Niman brothers, did you do the college experience at all?
Nope. As soon as school was finished, came out and started working either for myself or for him in some capacity.
Wow, that's awesome.
And it's been that way. Yeah, it's been that way for pretty much the entire time. Like before, like while I was in high school, I did like, you know, pizza delivery and, you know, like stuff like that. But after that, I've either been working, you know, like I worked with him as like one of the first things that I did. And then after that, you know, I've been pretty much, you know, self-employed since being out of high school. So skip the university side.
I went to a year of music school, and then I started a business, and then it went from there.
That's amazing. So, yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Just a lot of different experiences. We're going to be coming at you, Jill, with a ton of different questions today. And if you have questions for Jill on how you can develop more video testimonials and better video testimonials for your clients, let us know in the comment section. We will get to as many questions today as we can. Jill, I have been watching your live streams for quite some time. I believe you're doing stuff for Entrepreneur or Forbes. Talk to us a little bit about your live streaming and what you're doing there.
So it's really fascinating. A few years ago, and this is kind of my YouTube story, since that seems to be a theme, right? Obviously here. So I started a video series in 2012 with the intention that, of course, I was going to go viral and go famous and be this big name, right? Doesn't every YouTube creator think that way? And It's about communication and presentation skills. It was called 60-Second Guru, and just 1 minute, once a week, you can improve your communication and presentation skills. And wow, yes, I actually did say that on a video, and it still exists online to this day. But, you know, 250,000, 300,000 views down the road, you start getting contacted by different syndicating outlets. And Entrepreneur Magazine was opening a new video arm called Entrepreneur Network, and they found the videos, said entrepreneurs could really use them. Do I want to be a partner? So I became one of the original partners with Entrepreneur Magazine's video network. And since then got to be one of their earliest live stream hosts that wasn't employed by them. So I got to go to different events, red carpet. I got to touch arguably the most famous ball in the world, which is a great claim to fame to have, which is the ball on top of Times Square, that big crystal.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I thought we were going weird direction. Okay, good.
Hey, so you told me there was a line. I did not cross it.
I thought you were going to dance on it. So after touching the ball, you know what? So then what happened from there?
It's just been a lot of opportunities. So getting to interview different CEOs, different celebrities, different people in the entrepreneurial space as well. It's building that network, building those connections, and finding a way that you can use your strength. If you're a creator, that is your strength. For me, being live on video, having no script, interviewing people, going off the cuff, that is one of my strengths. And so finding a way to hone that strength and leverage it to make connections and highlight other people. I mean, Owen, you said earlier, your aim is not to be like the biggest star in the space. Your aim is to bring the biggest stars to the surface and you as the conduit. But then you use that conduit that you create to actually get more referrals, more business, more sponsors, stuff like that down the line.
Yeah, that's right. We're blowing up. We've got so much money. It's coming out of our ears over here at thevideospot.net.
It's kind of like the hair that's coming out of my ears, Owen.
I think that Gillette's got a product for that, and there might be a video on it somewhere. That's fantastic. So, Bill, we've got some questions coming up. Let's talk a little bit about video testimonials. Okay, what is a video testimonial, and how do we use that to grow?
So a video testimonial is somebody saying something about what you did or didn't do for them on a video. I mean, pretty simple, right? Let's give the literal textbook boring as heck definition. There we go. You have it. What it really is for anyone in this space who wants to have a different way to add some flair to their videos, to attract new clients, to get different opportunities, a video testimonial is the best way to capture an experience that someone had after engaging with you. How
long would a video testimony be?
It really depends on what the purpose is, right? If people are going to your channel per se, and you want to upload video testimonials, having one person talking the whole time for like more than 30 seconds, probably even 15, unless they are ridiculously funny or entertaining in some way, is going to make people click off the video, which is the thing you do not want to have happen.
Thought that, by the way, I have always thought that video testimonials are so boring. We've recommended to our clients to more like put them in quotes or something like this, because you tend to have somebody who's not used to being on camera, right? Have you guys Nimmons, have you seen this with video testimonials?
Oh, yeah, definitely seen it, and it's and like you're saying, they're very boring to where you have to fight through them if you're even going to watch it in the first place, and then like as you're watching it, you're like, oh my god, this is just
awkward.
It's just awkward. It's horrible. The whole thing is totally on board.
So how do we get better video testimonials, Jill?
So there's a number of things you can do, including probably the most important is asking the right questions.
Oh, good.
People will so often go up, and whether they have a nice video set up or, it's their cell phone with something else, whatever it is. And I have like my tips on video setup I'll get to in a minute from a technical geeky standpoint. But what they do is they ask, so what do you think of Jill's speech? So what do you think of Owen's show?
Right.
There's no easy answer to that is actually going to benefit you in any way, shape, or form, unless you get lucky and hit someone who is just impromptu, right off the cuff, ready to go and so excited, right? The only thing you might get from that is maybe some nonverbal reactions. They're like, oh my gosh, it was just so, that may be positive, but that's about it that you're going to get when you ask a question that's a crap question. So you really need to think about what specifically you want to get. My favorite question to ask people is, what one thing did you learn that you're actually going to do something with? So in my world, where I'm a content speaker, I'm a consultant, I'm a trainer, what one thing did you learn that you were going to do something with? Maybe what sticks out most in your mind from the presentation? What question do you have after the presentation, right? Because then that gives you a whole source for potential leads in the future, or ways to pitch that client back more information and more services. So it's asking the questions to elicit very specific answers and very concrete answers that you can do something with later. Another question I like is, in one word, describe Jill. In one word, describe the speech. In one word, describe, tell me, opine, whatever, about something. And the trick is to have a set of maybe 4 to 6 questions that whenever you have someone on video, that you ask them in a row. So these are different clips, different sound bites that then you can montage together. So it's not just one person going blah, 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 blah on a video. You can have a video of you speaking of your video show, of a video you have on YouTube, and these testimonials are rolling across the screen, or maybe popping up in a corner where you're still the star, but then you have this person saying, I couldn't believe when she did this, I took away this, goes back away. And so don't think of them as something that you need to upload as just a video. Think of them as mini bits that you can add on to existing content to give it more flavor and to give it more credibility.
Wow. That was a truth bomb. That was a knowledge bomb right there.
Yeah.
If you guys enjoyed that, put bomb in the comments section right now. Now, I'm a kid from the 90s. Maybe that's a bad idea on Facebook these days. We'll have to find out. But we've got tons of questions coming in from the audience. We just asked one of Gord's questions. We asked one of Dr. Sten's questions. Nick, do we have anything else coming in from the audience?
Yeah, the next question on the list is from Eugene Papa, saying, should you tell people what to say or should you just give them guidelines?
Don't tell them what to say. Don't give them guidelines in terms of what you want to hear. Just say, hey, I'm going to ask you a series of 4 questions or whatever it is. Just let them say what comes to the top of their mind, because that's what you want. You don't want them thinking and rehearsing things that they're going to say before, because number one, it takes the naturalness away from it. And number two, they're more likely to freeze on video because they're going to be like, oh, wait, I wanted to say something, and it's not going to be as authentic. So you really don't want to prep them in any way other than saying, hey, just stand here, look here, tell them where you want to look, mic them up or whatever you're doing, and then say, I'm just going to ask you 4 questions. Whatever's on the top of your mind, just spit it out. And then always have the last question be, is there anything else you want to share about your experience today, or something of that nature that's very generic to, for me, if I'm giving a keynote speech, for example, I want to know what their experience was or what they're excited about. So I get kind of that open-ended question in the end where sometimes magic can happen. A lot of times that stuff ends up just getting on the, cut room floor, so to speak, but it's a really good way. Have the concrete questions. You can even have yes and no questions. The other thing to think about when you're getting these testimonials, and this is from a strategic business standpoint, is what will actually also benefit your client. So let's say a meeting planner is bringing you in. Let's say you have your show and you're doing live interviews, or you're conducting interviews that you're going to, post-produce and put on YouTube or whatever later. What you can do in the testimonial phase is get testimonials that would also be good for the event organizer to add extra value. So while you're asking those questions, add in one more and say, what do you think about this event as a whole? Or what do you think about the association of da-da-da-da-da? Then you can cut all that up and give it as a gift to the person who brought you in the first place. Talk about added value, talk about unexpected bonuses, and wow, who's going to be on top of mind next year when they need to renew that type of service?
Wow, fantastic.
Yeah, great answer. She's dropping all types of knowledge here.
Yeah.
Another one here from Gord Eisman. He says that he's found that sometimes people make their testimonials too much about themselves and ramble on. So I think it's important to give a testimonial instruction question so that they produce something of value. That wasn't a question, that was a statement, but I thought that it was a question. So the actual question is,
you see what I got to put up with?
So the actual question is, so are you saying that that you do it as an interview, or you have the client just record it for themselves and send it to you, or you do both?
Lots of different options to do it, right? My favorite is if I bring someone with me, like an assistant, right? If I'm doing a big event, because having someone give a testimonial directly to you is awkward. It's really awkward, and you're not going to get the most truth, right? So here's what I do. Every event that I want to collect testimonials at, and I try to remember to bring all this stuff all the time, and I typically do, but sometimes in the middle of 5 cities, I'm like, where do I go? You're your magic phone, right? Magic phone. You need a little tripod, mini tripod. You can pack it anywhere. That means at the spur of the moment, you can get any testimonial. When someone comes up to you in the hallway of a convention and says, oh my gosh, your speech was amazing. It was great. Thank you so much. I'm like, hey, would you mind just saying that on camera? And if they say, oh, I don't want to be on camera, then what I do is I say, would you still mind getting on a camera? I promise not to use a video, but I will use the audio to be able to transcribe it later and to capture your words about this experience while they're fresh in your mind. Right? So it's not always the video that you need to capture. It's the audio. And every video or testimonial I get, I just send it off to rev.com or temi.com to get the immediate transcript of it and then have that. Because a lot of times those testimonials, it's not about having them on video. It's about having their name, their position, and their words that you can put over a different video in the lower third as a pop-up, whatever it is. So have a mini tripod. If you know you have a professional area set up, sure, bring your nicer equipment and whatever. And then do one of 2 microphones. This one is my absolute favorite. And if you go to a bit.ly/my video tools, that's a website I have with everything I use to do basic streaming without studio quality equipment or anything. It's kind of the pack that I have that I take with me. It's a Sennheiser mic. It's a lavalier clip-on mic, has a lightning port in there. Plug it into your phone, you clip it on. I can have this thing on. It can be over, my hair can be over it, and it picks up sound brilliantly. I streamed from the middle of Times Square in the afternoon. You could hear every single word I said. with this
Nice.
little mic. It's amazing. If you want to do interview style, because sometimes, you just ask the questions and have people look at the camera or look at you if you want the camera on the side, choose your angle, doesn't really matter. Or you can hold a prop up, say, hey, look at the stuffed hot dog or whatever. And I say that only because I have a stuffed Dodger dog over here in the corner from when I was in LA a couple weeks ago. They actually sell stuffed Dodger dogs.
I'm questioning your judgment right now, but it's okay. Please continue.
Yeah.
It was, I have a mission to visit every ballpark in the country. Mission. And so when I go and a client wants to take me, I'm excited. So the other microphone is if you want to do interview style, or if you think people will feel comfortable or cooler holding a mic, this iRig HD mic, they have many different versions. I love the one that plugs, as I drop my equipment, into the lightning port because I have the iPhone. But this is cool because then you can interview people if you want to do that, or you can just have them hold it on their own, which does make some people a little more comfortable because they don't know what to do with their hands in many situations. So sometimes having a mic is a comfort thing for them.
Yeah, I actually, and this is like the Ricky Bobby, I don't know what to do with my hands. I actually bought that mic from a video that you did with the Entrepreneur Network. That was about a year ago. And when I first, I think it was, someone tagged me in that. I think it was like Douglas Carr might have tagged me in it. And I bought
or the iRig?
the iRig mic. And it is an extremely reliable microphone. Very durable too. I've got kids; they play with it. It freaks me out when they're playing with it. You know what I mean? But they've dropped it on the tile, and that child is no longer with us. But we sold him. But a very reliable mic. Eugene Popa is asking us a question here. He says the most difficult part is to get people to convince them to actually do a testimonial for them. I see that a lot too, Eugene. There's a lot of camera shyness, or like, I really loved it, Owen, but like, I don't feel, So he's asking, how do you convince people to do the testimonial for you?
So as I said before, and I think this is worth repeating, if they hesitate on the video, immediately go to audio. The important thing is that you capture the words, their name, their title, right? That's what's the most important. So immediately, if they hesitate at all, just say, okay, no problem. I completely understand. Can you just say it on audio or do it on video? I promise I won't use the video. It'll just be the audio, or you can have them step aside, so they're not even in the screen, whatever it is, just getting it captured. For other purposes, always be ready to tell them where you're going to use it, because that's a concern for a lot of people, is where will this video be used? So have your answer to that question ready. It'll be in my website. It'll be featured on different videos or whatever it may be. So really be prepared with those answers just so people feel comfortable. And also tell them if they want to, you can choose depending on how bad you want this testimonial. This is like, I don't like to do this at all. And most of the time it's not worth it for me to do it. But if this is a person whose testimony you really want, say, we'll record it and then I'll send it to you. And you can tell me if there's any part that you don't want me to use.
Nice.
Right?
Man.
Now that puts a lot of extra work on you. But if you really want that testimonial, that's the additional comfort level that some people need.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's
So if I'm understanding you correctly, basically you're saying to tell them that you're not going to use the video footage if they don't want to be on video. And then basically you get that home and you edit that all together and then you put it up on the biggest social media site that you can find in video content so that you can put them out there. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, doing it in a lot of different ways. So here's
I was just kidding because I was basically saying that you're lying to them for telling them that you're not going to use the video.
Well, no, of course. But the thing is, telling them, something like that, though, in a facetious, sarcastic nature, if it freaks them out, then you come back down, right? It's that contrast. And it comes back down. It's like, no, really, all I'm going to do is put it on the website or do this and that. And it's really for potential clients. So, I was sorry. I didn't get the joke. That was my bad.
Okay.
Completely.
I'm bad at telling jokes. No problem at all. Yeah, I'm bad at telling jokes.
Yes, he is. He's bad.
Charge them more. Like, oh, you don't want to do a testimonial? Well, then your price just doubled.
Hey, Jill, is there an app that you use to record your audio? Do you have a preferred app?
So with the iRig and the Sennheiser both, there's a app that what's it called? Sennheiser. I can never say the damn word right, and my last name is German, so I should be able to.
Yeah, Schiefelbein. I think that's how you say it.
Right. I'm gonna pronounce this wrong. The Apogee. Apogee. Thank you, Apogee. Yeah, that app helps me adjust the sound levels really well. So what I always do too, if I'm broadcasting any live stream for Entrepreneur, for a major outlet that's not my own, I will actually do an audio and video and lighting check on my own personal page, kind of like as a behind the scenes. And I did that like before doing the crystal ball at Times Square. I'm like, hey guys, you won't believe what I'm about to do, but I need your help. Can you help me test my audio and video levels? Are my P's popping? Comment in below. So you get that immediate feedback before then I'm going somewhere else, because sometimes based on bandwidth and everything, all of that can change as well in terms of quality. So for live streaming, it's always good to have that test run. I really like to think of it that way.
Yeah, fantastic. We got a ton of comments coming in from the audience.
So Gord Eisman asked another one. He says, what's a good way to respectfully remind people that have said that they're going to give you a testimonial, but they haven't gotten around to actually producing it for you?
So one of the most difficult things is if you don't get the testimonials on the spot in the moment in the event, it's going to be ridiculously difficult for them to do that. And especially via video. That's actually, if you think about it, that's quite a big ask for someone. That's quite a big inconvenience. Whereas if you miss the moment, I would actually just suggest that you go into text-based testimonials. Like, hey, give me a testimonial or answer these questions for me, whatever it is, if you miss the moment. The other thing to think about in terms of when you're asking. So number one, I put it in every contract I have for clients. It's part of my actually signed contract that says, if happy with Jill's work, client agrees to provide a testimonial. And I leave it testimonial, which is ambiguous, meaning they could maybe do audio, video, or text. But putting that in your contract is actually one way to do it. And then it's just a friendly reminder, be like, hey, loved working this event, really appreciate it. To fulfill the rest of the contract, there's just one thing left. If you would be willing to get that testimonial over to me, whatever. But again, if you're just asking for a testimonial without giving any, I don't like to say guidelines, but without asking questions, it's difficult for people, because then you're sitting there and they're like, well, what do they want me to say? How do they want me to frame it? So either give them those guidelines, or better yet, ask a series of 3 or 4 questions in an email that you know are going to elicit the answers that you need to get. And that's so much more impactful than just saying, hey, you didn't give me a testimonial yet, right? Where's the testimonial?
That's fantastic.
Nice. Have you ever had an issue where, like, let's say that you got a testimonial from someone at an event, to where you've posted it up and they've asked you to take it down? Like, did you get any type of clearance from them? Do you have them sign anything on the spot saying, you know, I give you permission, or say it in the video or anything like that, saying that they give you permission to use that testimonial in whatever way you would like, or anything like that?
I don't.
Or do you recommend doing that?
I don't, but that's freaking brilliant. Just asking them to say that in the video. That's freaking brilliant. I am totally adding that into my workflow now. Thank you so much for that.
Hey,
but
no problem.
You know, I'm not a big enough name where people are going to be like, yeah, I need to sign these model release documents, but it's a very valid point in our litigious society. So I would absolutely do something and recommend it. And yeah, super smart. Thank you.
Yeah,
my pleasure. See, you get value from the Business of Video podcast. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, all angles of it here.
Could you give us a testimonial now, Jill? Actually, and we've been doing that. We've been putting testimonials in our contracts for a while now. So it's great to know, Jill, that you're doing that, because I always felt kind of like, should I remove this? And we've had some people say, hey, you know, I don't feel comfortable with this, and we're negotiable on that. But before every testimonial, we do hey, you give Video Spot permission to use this in our marketing, and they have to respond to that. I actually learned that from doing some street filming with some companies that I was working with long time ago. Guys, the comments are pouring in. I want to say hi to a couple people. Patrick Almond is logging in. Big dog with the NSA. Patrick, it's been a while since we talked. I'm glad to have you here. Sten Eckberg, the doctor, is in the house, says, I film interviews with me in the video so the person can look at me and feel more comfortable. Great advice there, Dr. Sten. Paul Crane is asking, saying I show them on the spot what their video looks like. Eugene Popa is saying, if they won't give you a testimonial, smack them over the head. We do not sanction smacking over the head, but funny stuff there, Eugene. Glad to have you.
I sanction that.
Approved. I love it. Eugene is saying D-bomb. I love it. Stan is saying, I have a testimonial video releasing this week. That's awesome that you're already doing this. Scott Henderson is asking, do you ask them to start a certain way? Like, we just hired Scott for a show and ... Now, we do this a certain way, but Jill, I'm interested in your thoughts.
Hey, Scott, that's my cousin's husband. That's so awesome. Thanks for tuning in. He's just in Kansas City. But he's a magician. And he's Magic Scott. And so he does things aimed at very friendly audiences. And it's really cool.
Your cousin's a magician. My brother's a balloon artist. There's magic happening on this show, folks.
I can juggle.
I can also juggle.
You know,
I actually had a juggle off. I think that was like a year or something ago. We passed like a video or two back and forth on Facebook of juggling. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. I think I juggled, and oh my gosh, that was so long ago. I think we need to resurrect that.
That's funny. And then I'll crochet. That's my post-apocalyptic skill. But to Scott's question, right? Like, I want to get an answer to this. So only ask them to start a certain way if you know you need that. Because again, once you start asking someone to remember something at the beginning, it's going to throw them off for what they're going to say after that. So really caution you on using that at the very, very beginning, unless you absolutely need to have it. The other thing is too, when you think of testimonials and people think of it, oh, well, maybe this is not authentic or true. So one person, when I first started out and didn't have any testimonials from my paid speaking engagements, told me, you've taught in a classroom speaking for how many years? Do you have any reviews from students that you could use as testimonials? I said, well, it's not a speech. It's not the same thing. It's you, it's your brain, it's your content. How is that not authentic? And so if you're asking them to say certain things at the beginning, and especially if there's not a good clean pause after that statement, it's going to be harder to repurpose those comments or those testimonials in other areas. Now, you can have them in the email or in the context, just kind of state at the beginning what the event was, just so you can have that for your records. But the other way I think about using them, and I haven't gotten to this tip yet too, and I hope this will help some people because I do believe it has helped me. I don't have, data-based proof for this, but I do believe my proposals are so much sexier and so much more relevant. I have a whole, cachet, if you will, of testimonial bits and pieces and clips. And I have them for speaking. I have them for training. I have them for consulting. I have them for video work. I have them for webinars. Like, webinars are my superpower in so many ways. And I have them in those categories. So no matter what type of client I have that's coming in, I handpick a few of those testimonials to make as cute little pop-out bubbles in the test or in the proposal on the relevant pages where I'm talking about programmatic things and price.
That's awesome.
Nice.
That just kind of builds belief when they're at home, on their couch reviewing your proposal. It's like having that social proof kind of hit them while they're reading your proposal. That's really fantastic. Now, before we go to Gord's next question, I want to comment on that, on having them start. What I've done in the past is we try to ask them some primer questions just to get them talking and to get them comfortable before we go into those four mains. So I'll start with, tell me who you are and what you do. And that way I've got this opening of like, I'm Jim Jones and I'm an attorney for the state of San Diego or the county of San Diego, whatever the case might be. And now I've got that opening clip as again, social proof for other people that, hey, this is not just, a home-based vitamin salesperson. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but if I'm marketing to high-level attorneys, I don't want to show them a multi-level marketing testimonial. I want to show them an attorney testimonial. I want to show them a doctor testimonial. I want to show them something a little more white collar, right? So I do start with that. Tell me who you are and what you do. And I'll even say, tell me what you love best about what you do. And then you see this, they light up. And, I just love, helping people, get through their cases. And I really enjoy talking. I love going back and forth, and it gets them talking. And now they're warmed up. And then boom, now you hit them with those four questions. So that's something that I've done in the past that's been successful for me. What's been successful for you guys getting video testimonials? Let us know in the comments section below. And I think we got more questions coming in.
Yeah, so another question here, and he must have came in late. And for anybody that has come in late, Eugene asks another question, asking if you have a book or a product on this, Jill. If so, shut up and take his money, is the actual comment. So if you could show your book here again and do another mention of that would be fantastic for anybody in the chat right now that's interested in that.
This
There
is
you
my
go.
book. This is my third book actually, but it's my baby when it comes to entrepreneurship, right? The other one is like a textbook and a self-published book, but this is like, I'm at Barnes and Noble and all that jazz. But Dynamic Communication, 27 strategies to grow, lead, and manage your business. And what I selfishly love about this book and how I wrote it was that you look up the 27 different strategies in the table of contents, you decide what problem your business is facing today, you spend 5 minutes reading that one chapter, you put the book down, and you've gotten value from it. It's all bite-sized value based on whatever problem you're facing in that day. Now, if you read it front, cover to cover, you'll have some little anecdotal things that you wouldn't pick up on otherwise, right? So those Easter egg mentality things in the book, but it's really accessible. It's really practical, which is what I wanted to do.
That's awesome. And that's available at Barnes & Noble, iBooks, and Amazon.com. Last question. Gord Eisman Q is saying, should testimonial videos be shared on our YouTube channels or just unlisted and embedded in our website? Great question, actually, right? Because is that content by itself any valuable? Does there need to be context around it? Jill, your thoughts on that?
A lot of different thoughts. So I have a number of different videos on my channel, and I have the testimonial videos, which are viewed by far the least. I mean, microscopic percentages. And when I first put them on there, I didn't know any better, right? So here's what I would recommend for video testimonials. Now, one, it's going to bring down your average per video view. It just is, if you just are putting them as video testimonials. So I actually put anything that I'm going to embed in my website that I'm not worried about view count on, I actually put on Vimeo. I have the Vimeo Pro subscription. I can control where it's embedded, where it's not embedded, all of that stuff. So I do that for video testimonials. But the thing is, I rarely don't use a video testimonial of a person or a couple people just as, hey, here's this video I'm going to put out. I may have one that I send to a client if they ask for it, but I don't need that stuff to be public about me. The words that are being used is what I repurpose. And then I actually intersperse those different video clips, those different montages in existing content. So it's adding that social proof, adding that credibility in any piece of content that people are already watching. And again, it's not hurting your averages on your channel or anything like that.
Nice.
Awesome. I think too. And, I think, Nick, you'd probably agree that you want to keep that average, per video view up, or maybe make like a video that's like, hey, want to grow a successful channel like me, right? And then you could maybe like filter the videos in some way, shape, or form. And Gord, I know that you are just thrilling people all across the world. And so you want to be gathering those testimonials. Jill, great to have you on the show. How do we stay in touch with you?
Thank you so much for having me. I am sincerely glad the scheduling all finally worked out. Thank you everyone for tuning in. TheDynamicCommunicator.com is my website, but I'm really everywhere on social at Dynamic Jill. And my last name is a pain in the butt. So at Dynamic Jill, much easier. You can find me there. If you have any questions, please let us know. And I will say this on behalf of all of us on here right now, just speaking for all you gentlemen, because as a woman, that's what I get to do, right? So
You're mansplaining.
I am. I'm woman-splaining right here. But anyone who puts out content, right? You produce a show, you do an interview, whatever, what you really care about in the end, unless you're just one capitalistic, money-hungry person, is that people actually use what they see on the show. Yeah, and I know, sorry, I called you out. But people actually use what they see on the show. So if you learn something today, I would appreciate it if you in the comments put the one biggest takeaway that you had from our conversation today, just so I know what resonated. Owen and his crew know what resonated as well, because that is also an indicator of what content they can provide in the future.
That's awesome. I love it. Guys, let us know in the comment section. Jill, great to have you on the show. I'm so glad that you could make it.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Loved being on it with you.
Wow, she's fantastic, isn't she, guys?
Yes.
Yeah, she was fantastic. Wonderful. Great information coming out of there.
Yeah, we don't hear too much about the video testimonial, right? As much as we need. So important, and we don't hear too much about that. So it's kind of unique content, something you're only going to get on the Business of Video podcast.
Yeah, this motivated me to just get testimonials in general, because I don't get testimonials for anything I do. It's just kind of been out of my wheelhouse in terms of things that I consider to to be important. So yeah, this motivated me to just start hitting people up just for testimonials anyway, just because the value that they can bring and the credibility that they can bring as well. I mean, I think that's awesome. So thank you for that, Joe.
That's proof.
I was going to say the one thing I took away from this is something I would have never thought about is if somebody doesn't want to do video, if they're uncomfortable, just ask them to do audio. As simple as that sounds, I would have never thought of that.
Yeah.
I would have just said, okay, have a good day.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
You
Great
know?
stuff.
Have a good one.
Really good stuff.
So thank you, Jill.
Yeah, that's amazing. And even, Dan Norton is asking me. Dan Norton's one of my clients. He's in the group, and he's like, oh, and he's like, you need some video testimonials for Square video memes and for some of this other stuff you're doing. And so I say, Dan, why don't you be my first? Take what you've learned today, make me a video testimonial. We'll put it on the website. It's great advice. And I think it's one of those things that we forget about. You know, I ask people over the phone, hey, do you like the course? Do you mind if I write this down and put it on the website? But we're video people. We should be using more video. Well, the Nimmin brothers, great to have you guys on the show. And, Dee, I hope you'll come back again next week. We have Kelsey Brennan, the premier gal. She's going to be on the show. Next week's show is fantastic.
Yeah.
I hope you'll join us on the Business of Video podcast.
Boom.
Thank you for listening to the Business of Video podcast. If you like the show, give us a review on iTunes or share this episode on social media now. Join us next time on Facebook Live. Just visit businessofvideopodcast.com and subscribe to the newsletter updates. This podcast is brought to you by Tuber Tools and BizTubeAcademy.com.